Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Taylor, and I am the STEM career coach here at AMU and APU. Today, I'll be providing a short presentation with information to consider to help you begin building your career plan and getting started in the information technology field. Today, I will focus on helping you prepare for a career in information technology. This presentation is designed to provide you with actionable steps and strategies to help you start and advance in your IT career. Some of the things we're going to talk about today are self-reflection and research, understanding the IT landscape, gaining practical experience in the field, some entry-level certifications, and the importance of networking. Let's discuss why self-reflection matters when getting into the IT industry. It is important to engage in self-reflection and research when getting started in the IT career, as self-reflection helps evaluate your interests and your skills, such as what aspects of IT appeal to you? What is it that you enjoy doing in your spare time when it comes to handling information technology and identifying those strengths? But also, what don't you enjoy doing? What are some things that don't quite interest you? Or what are some areas that you still want to learn more about? An example of that self-reflection is if you enjoy, let's just say you enjoy problem solving. That's something that you really love doing when it comes to IT. That's one of the aspects. So with problem solving, you might be drawn to roles such as software development. If you like interacting with people and troubleshooting issues, IT support might be a better fit. So really understanding what is it that I love about IT? Why do I want to go into this field? What is it that I enjoy doing? Or what is it something I've always wanted to do to help begin identifying the types of roles and companies that you're going to look into pursuing as you continue building this career plan and getting started in this IT career field. Because in order to get started in this field, you have to know kind of an area or a role that you want to enter. So narrowing that down is going to be really important. And the best way to do that is through that self-reflection. And with that, so does research. So after taking some time for that self-reflection, the next step to do is some research. This means looking into job roles, those required skills for those roles, and potential certifications that are going to be required. This can help figure out your path. So how am I going to get here? What do I need to get to land this role? And just identifying those next steps in getting there. For example, say you've done some self-reflection and you have done a little bit of research and you find that you're interested in data management. Checking out roles, open job positions is one way of doing that for a data analyst or database administrator can give you a clear idea about some of the skills and certifications that you'll need. Going through and looking through maybe like 10 to 15 different job announcements just to kind of get an average idea of what to expect in this field. What are the expectations for the types of certifications? What are the expectations for the years of experience and the skills and knowledge that I'm going to need to have to break into this industry? Again, one of the examples I just said was you could use some job postings to help with this research, but I also encourage you to use a network and industry publications to help you identify what is it that you already have, because that's going to be important. What is it that I already bring to the table? And then also identify some of those gaps. What are some things that I'm still going to need to gain to be able to effectively enter into this industry and be that competitive candidate? Because also identifying those gaps, that's how you're going to target your internships, if that's something you go for, the type of volunteer work to get, or those professional or personal projects that you decide to do on your own time. So identifying those gaps is going to be essential. So that way you know how to target gaining that experience. And also already highlighting what you already have. Of course, you can continue building on those strengths, but knowing what you bring to the table is just as valuable. Researching potential employers can also give you some insight. So that's something else I recommend doing. And this insight is, what do they look for in candidates? Helping you better prepare and understand how to stand out on those applications and in that interview. So when it comes to that job search process, knowing what it is that these companies are looking for in a candidate is going to help you understand the type of experience to target, which is, again, something I just mentioned before, but also how to help you prepare when you start that job search and begin applying for roles in this field. So if you want, and what I encourage is that you set a clear career goal that aligns with your interest. The job market is going to be really important, and putting that together through self-reflection and research. So that's going to be really key to making that career plan happen and identifying how to really get started into this industry. So going back and taking a look at your current skills, experience, interests, and seeing how they fit into the different IT roles and industries. This can help make it easier on narrowing down your career path and also build upon what you already know. So let's talk about understanding the landscape within IT, because this is essential for shaping your career path and your goals. When it comes to the landscape, what I mean by this is there are a variety of areas. I mean, IT is in almost every area of our life. So it falls into a lot of different categories out there. So it's going to be really important to understand what are some of these categories? What experience do I have in some of these categories? Or what is it, that I want to move into? So some of these key areas or types of categories for IT can include healthcare information technology and financial technology. Those are going to be some of the big ones. You have also, falls into telecommunications, web design. So as you work towards a career in information technology, identifying the industries that actively hire IT professionals is of course going to be essential. And also remembering that information technology isn't limited to just technology companies. It's also present in various fields like environmental technology, space, art and history technology. So again, with all those functional roles in IT, it's going to be important. And what I recommend doing is identifying 3 to 5 areas or industries, types of roles that genuinely interest you and that you can make your career planning process much easier by identifying some of these industries. So that way you're not looking into 10 to 15 different industries and trying to navigate what it is that you need or don't need, because every industry is going to require something slightly different. You want that targeted approach to show employers where your interest lies, where your dedication is going to be. But having a few open is always good. So that way you're flexible and you can flow depending on where your career path leads you as well. So after thinking about that self-reflection, doing some of that research, the next step in that career planning process is targeting an industry or a role, because we're really both, here's some roles I enjoy, but what industry do I want to do it in? Or I know I want to do it in this industry. What are some of the roles that they offer? So think of things like that to be able to help you begin identifying what it is that you want to do in IT. Let's take a look at some of the industries and possible entry-level roles, starting with software development. So when it comes to those entry-level roles, it's typically going to require 1 to 3 years of experience. And when you think entry level, it's like, no experience at all, which there are roles like that out there. However, they're going to be competitive and they're likely going to be limited. So we're going to go through and talk about some of these different entry-level roles to consider when it comes to something that might interest you to help you begin brainstorming some things that are out there. So software development, this is typically an entry-level role or area that builds and maintains software. Some role titles can include junior developers and QA analyst. And you can typically find this type of role in companies like Microsoft, Google, and even retail giants like Walmart or Lowe's. And then you have healthcare information technology. This is where some areas that someone may be working with would be managing electronic health records and possibly telemedicine. And again, these are just some examples. So roles like health IT support, or clinical systems analyst are common job titles in hospitals and health technology companies. So when I say evaluate your background experience, what it is that you already have, a medical background could be a big plus for a role like this. So if you're looking just to get started and you have that healthcare background, you already have some of those transferable skills into the industry by leveraging what experience you already have. So think about things like that. Then you have financial technology. So this is blending finance and technology. And with roles like, you may be working in roles that deal with digital payments or banking for companies like JP Morgan and Capital One. So again, a finance background, accounting experience, you can help leverage that here when getting started into this career path. So it is essential to research IT opportunities, those organizations, to help you better understand your options and assess how your skills and experiences align with the current demands. This approach will allow you to identify any additional skills, certifications, or experience you may need to acquire. It also will help show you what it is you need. So if you're not doing that career change and you really are like, this is your first career move, it's going to tell you, or not really tell you, but give you a guide as to what it is that you need to do to become competitive. And it's also going to be essential to not just consider those big tech companies, but also relevant, other industries that are out there that do provide those technology services. And then, as I mentioned previously, securing an entry-level role does often require that 1 to 3 years of experience, which can seem like that catch-22 if you're just starting out. For instance, positions such as help desk technician or junior systems administrator frequently list experience as a requirement. And when I say list experience, it might be a 1 or 2 year experience of relevant, hands-on technology experience. So this creates that challenging situation where you need experience to gain that experience. However, there are several strategies to begin breaking this cycle and effectively begin building your practical hands-on experience in this industry. The first one might be the obvious one, but you have internships. And this tends to be and remains a key pathway to gaining that real-world experience. So looking for internships with tech companies, startups, nonprofits, wherever you can find that opportunity that fits you and your values. This is where you can apply your skills in those practical scenarios within an internship. Even if it's an unpaid internship or a short-term contract, it can still provide you with valuable experience and help you build your resume as well as your network. But keep in mind, internships can be just as competitive as those entry-level roles. So having some experience, which I'm going to talk about here in a moment, of how you can gain that experience without an internship or volunteer work, will be important. So additionally, something else to consider when it comes to building and gaining that practical experience is volunteering your time, utilizing your IT skills. You can look for local organizations that might need additional support, community groups, or small businesses. There are volunteer platforms out there that do look for IT assistance. So this could be something to look into, finding a reliable organization to begin building up your skills, also your network at the same time. And these experiences, they help you when it comes to interning or volunteering, they help you apply your knowledge and solve those real world problems and again, expand that professional network. But let's say you're struggling to find those formal opportunities, consider creating your own opportunities. You can make your own opportunities when it comes to IT, which is so nice because it is a flexible field when it comes to doing what you love. For instance, starting a tech club or a community group where you organize workshops, coding sessions, or tech talks, maybe it's even a podcast, can be highly beneficial. Leading or participating in such activities not only demonstrates initiative, but it also helps you build both technical and leadership skills. Engaging in those tech-related activities really allows you to build and gain upon your skill set and, again, those connections that could lead to more opportunities such as job or speaking at a conference, things like that. And another idea when it comes to making your own experience is those personal professional projects. So when I said sometimes internships are competitive, that you need experience, which is why you're trying to get the internship. Some ways that you can demonstrate that you have that passion and that love and dedicate it for the IT field is doing your own projects. So what I mean by this is assembling a custom gaming system, which provides hands-on experience with hardware, software installation, even performance optimization, and documenting these projects thoroughly. So every step that you take, whether it's building a website or building your own home lab, starting from scratch, building your own computer, you're going to want to document every step that you take and showcasing it on IT platforms or in a portfolio. This can help demonstrate your capabilities to those potential employers. And if you ask how will they know about it, well, you can link it to your LinkedIn, you can link it to your resume. There are ways to get your portfolio out there. And I know I gave some pretty broad examples, but also if you're like into coding, you create your own codes or things like that to your own website. There could be other ways, and I encourage you to research some different ways for building up your experience in your downtime. But that is one way of demonstrating it and showing it. And you can also highlight it on your resume, on a portfolio, and on places like LinkedIn. And now we have certifications, and certifications are going to be a pivotal element in launching a successful career in IT, especially at the entry level, especially if in those entry level positions, because certifications, they help validate your foundational knowledge and skills, making you that more attractive candidate to potential employers. It shows that you're invested and it shows that you are capable. So starting with entry level certifications helps build that strong foundation and demonstrates that commitment to the field. So one example of an entry-level certification is CompTIA A+. It is a fundamental certification that covers essential IT skills, including hardware, troubleshooting, and security. It is particularly valuable for those aiming to start in roles such as an IT support specialist, help desk technician, or even a junior network administrator. However, it is going to be really important to research the types of certifications that you're going to need with getting into this field. And how do you know what certifications you need? By reaching out to your networks, by looking at current job postings, looking into the trends happening for the IT industry with reliable publications that are out there. So really becoming informed and knowing what it is you need, because you might not, CompTIA is a pretty common certification out there. However, you might need Microsoft or Cisco. So there are different companies and different types of certifications. It's going to be really important that you identify which one that you will likely need, and if you need any at all with some of the roles that you're looking into getting started into. So doing that research is going to be essential. But by obtaining these types of certifications, you can demonstrate your preparedness for those entry-level positions, lay that groundwork for further specialization. So if you get one entry-level certification and you want to continue building and growing in your career field, it lays that groundwork to getting the other certifications that may be required or that you might just want. But again, this is where research is going to be really important to ensure if you need a certification, you're identifying the one that's going to be a best fit for you and your career goals. And again, to identify what certification you need, it's going to go back to that self-reflection, identifying what it is that you're good at, identifying, taking that next step and seeing what's out there in the IT industry. So identifying an industry or industries, as well as some of those different job titles, which then can allow you to do that research and begin targeting your network, and also identifying those ways to begin getting that experience. So networking is essential in the IT field. I've mentioned that throughout this entire presentation, but it is such a powerful tool for exchanging information, fostering those long-term relationships, and uncovering new opportunities. Engaging with others in your industry not only enhances your knowledge, but also positions you as that expert. A network can provide you a wealth of opportunities to share and exchange ideas and find those opportunities. So networking ultimately provides that visibility for you and what you're capable of. So what are some ways to network or enhance my network? Well, I encourage you to consider participating in career fairs. Career Services, we host several career fairs throughout the year. We also have internship fairs that we host as well. We have employer information sessions throughout the year where employers come and speak to our students and our alumni about their opportunities and about their company. So looking on CareerLink for that type of way of learning more about the company, it's a part of your research and also helps you network. Additionally, you have platforms like LinkedIn. They're valuable for initiating those connections in fields that you're interested in, also learning more about how did these people get started in the IT industry and looking back on those profiles and seeing what steps that they took. AMU and APU also provides a mentorship program for students and alumni, allowing you to connect with experienced mentors in the field could be another valuable way of getting connected. Actively participating in professional organizations and forums can help not only build a strong network, but also gain access to valuable resources. This engagement positions you as, again, a informed and an active member of the IT community, helping you to stay ahead of industry trends while also opening doors to new opportunities and professional growth. And with this in mind, I do encourage you to check out the Technology Professionals Club that AMU APU has. Great group of people who come together. It's a great way of networking with peers to see, what is it they're interested in doing? What are some of the steps that they took? If they're already in the field or trying to get in the field, it's a great way to collaborate. So I encourage you to check out that club. It's also a great thing that you can list on your resume for gaining that experience, leveraging your network. So yes, check them out. Thank you for joining in. I would absolutely love to hear from you. So feel free to get in contact by reaching out via email at careerservices@apus.edu or via phone 877-755-2787. Or feel free to fill out a form found on your eCampus. Fill that out. It will get sent to us and we'd be happy to reach out and get connected with you. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and thank you.